guys.
Wow. You feel goosebumps for the victims
Yeah.
of which they say there are 80 that they're known of. I just
80
heard
people
on
who
CNN.
are actually, Just
Please
makes the people feel right.
forgive us if we get anything wrong with the facts, because we've literally just grabbed the news there. And also, if you, our friends in America, we'd love to know anything
Yeah.
that you know that we haven't yet.
Well, here's the news breaking on CNN is that the judge has, the jury have found him guilty on 2 counts on the
Harvey Weinstein. We're
Harvey
talking about,
Weinstein,
guys.
it's in the title. Guilty on 2 of the least serious, I mean, they're all serious, but the least serious, so none of the ones that carried a potential life sentence. One is first-degree sexual assault, and the other is third-degree rape. Third-degree rape carries a minimum sentence of, a maximum sentence of 4 years, and the first-degree sexual assault does carry the potential for 25-year incarceration. Right. So, ironically, weirdly, the third-degree rape has a lesser potential punishment than the first-degree sexual assault.
And
But so let me just add, so just so that you guys are up to speed on this. So, as well as that, the judge has just decided that he will be remanded in custody. So he is now a convicted felon and he's being held in prison.
Just heard that a second ago.
Literally
Somebody there
just
just
broken.
saying they've met Harvey Weinstein 10 years ago.
Wow,
And
I
he's
think
a
I
very
might.
odd man.
I hate to say it, I think I might have interviewed him at the Cannes Film Festival for Copland, which was one of the films that was involved in this.
So we've literally just heard he's only just been remanded by the judge. They were just saying they had some lawyers there just a few minutes before saying they thought it would be highly unlikely that he would get away with.
Well, it was interesting. I thought we could have had a bit of an OJ moment because I was thinking.
I was really worried he was going to get out because the lawyers put forward that he'd been behaved in an exemplary fashion in court and that he has problem with his eyes. I don't know, problems with his eyes, problems with his eyes and with his back.
Well, Maddie summed up his infirm gait as he walked into court by saying it's put her off even the character in Up because she finds it so objectionable. She doesn't believe, and to be honest with you,
I think he definitely had. I mean,
he's definitely not
he's definitely had. I mean, he's not well, and I have to force myself to not go, oh God, now how petrifying he's going into a facility in America.
You always have compassion for people.
No.
Not compassion, but you always feel the human.
All my compassion goes to the victims, all of it. But there is that part of me always that go, even for somebody that has done something so awful as this, like, oh my God, now you're getting your comeuppance. And the horror of that, he deserves it. Don't get me wrong, he deserves it. But I still do have compassion for what he's going to go through because it's going to be hell.
Yeah, I mean, as someone's just said there, it's very early to celebrate because he wasn't convicted of the more serious crimes, his defence team will probably undoubtedly go to appeal because they'll believe that, if he got off those, he could probably get off the lesser count. Someone's just asked, how can you have third degree versus first degree rape? Isn't rape?
I think this is the differences like we have in this country of sexual assault and rape. So it probably is all down to things like penetration, where there's been penetration, what kind, and all of that, I would imagine, don't you?
Yeah. But, I mean, I also think it comes down to prior history, because I think one of the major issues that they were arguing was that a number of the women had consensual sex with Harvey Weinstein after the so-called rape and sexual assault, and the prosecutors were arguing, well, yeah, of course, this is the nature of Harvey Weinstein's sort of control, was that he would do that and then kind of use them.
And of course, the argument has been that this was transactional sex, which I hate this phrase, transactional, i.e. you knew what was going on. A bit like, who's been seeing The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston?
Yes.
You knew what was going on. You knew very well that you were going to sleep with me and then you were going to get a better job and you were going to... And that's what we've really got. The Me Too movement is just so important. I know a lot of people have got weary about it, weary of it, but it's really, really important that we don't become weary of it.
And I think remind us, Nadia, because you did on one of the lives recently, this idea, lots of people feel if the crimes happened and if you had the issue, why didn't they come out at the time? But there's a huge, one of the huge components of any of these cases is that as the evidence comes out and as people talk about it in court, other people and potential victims hear the similarities and then potentially they come forward, I guess, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken about this a number of times on this on this channel.
Oh, it's just broken. Weinstein's publicist says his attorney is already in the process of filing an appeal.
Yeah.
So he's already appealing against the decision.
Look what happened with the guy you just mentioned. I've got his name.
Sorry?
What was the guy? O.J. Simpson. Look what happened with him. I mean, America can be totally extraordinary at system. And you know what? That's this smug bastard. A few weeks ago, when he was asked whether he thought he would be found innocent, and he said yes, and they said why, and he said because I have very good lawyers. That's what he said.
Yeah, he didn't say.
He didn't say I did because I didn't do it. He said because I've got very good lawyers.
Petrifying.
So he'll have the very best.
So presumably the judge has made a judicial request for him to go to the infirmary. I guess the infirmary is literally where the infirm
Look,
goes.
he's being handcuffed
He's
now.
being handcuffed 5 minutes ago as we speak and taken down. I mean,
my God.
That's the process. I mean, they did genuinely think, though, that if they didn't remand him in custody, because he had awaiting court cases in Los Angeles, and because he's got enough money financially able, he could have jumped bail and escaped the country.
Well, you know, I mean, the thing is, imagine already the humiliation that he has endured. He's got this terrible back, obviously something wrong with his sight. You're not going to get your career back. You're not going to get your status back. You would either run, I would think, and I would wonder if he's going to be on suicide watch now, because
oh my God,
he must be thinking,
situation?
What is the point of carrying on? I mean, potentially 25 years, and they haven't even done LA
Well,
yet.
if they tot up everything to the max, it could be 29 years, and he's 67, I believe, so that would take him to 96.
Yeah. Look at that. James Flanagan. My tutor said she worked with him, and she said he never touched me. What a horrible thing to say under the circumstances. Absolutely. Isn't that just shocking when people say things like that?
It's like, I met Jimmy Savile, but he didn't touch me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's very, very odd. So, I mean, it's a big story, but I do think a lot of people are kind of invoking the Prince Andrew and Epstein story. It does make you wonder if it's a huge sort of shot across the bows of anyone who's got up to any no good or non-compliant or consensual sex or any sort of abuse, that maybe perhaps some justice can be done. I mean,
so he's going to the hospital in the prison,
the infirmary.
Now that already sounds to me, because he's walking, isn't he?
Well, he is walking. He walked in.
He's walking. So I mean, I wonder why he's going to the hospital. It sounds like that's a softer remand than just remand.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Just reading, according to the BBC, Weinstein still faces charges. Yeah, he does still face charges
in LA.
In LA of rape too.
Does anybody know? Because it sounded, I was just listening to CNN, and it sounded like that one of the journalists was saying that some of these people that have just brought the case here will also be bringing it in LA.
Possibly. I think it might be...
I don't think it's a whole new set of different people.
A little bit
or
like...
is it? Do you know?
I wonder whether... Yeah, maybe if you know... I mean, I wonder if it's a little bit like the hacked off cases in the UK, where there's a group of prosecutors who are looking after the sort of body of people or people who've been hacked. Yeah, no, I mean, and an interesting point about Harvey Weinstein himself is that, I think all of his kind of looking ill and feeling ill and all that kind of stuff is just an enormous way of potentially making his time in prison that much more manageable, don't you? I suppose that was all. What I'm trying to say is, he made some of the great movies of our times with great performances, won many Oscars, and I think he was going for the ultimate accolade of getting away with this by performing what he thought was a dead cert of being an infirm old man. And what you're saying is, if they've sent him to the infirmary, they obviously... I mean, they have to judge it carefully. I wonder whether what happened with the Epstein case, they're going to have to be ultra careful with this guy. Apparently
Kieran Robbins says there that he's 67, he's got issues with his back, he's going to be mental health issues. But, Kieran, I get all of that, but we're talking about American prisons. And every program I've ever seen about an American prison, they are incredibly brutal. I can't believe that that's enough if you weren't a famous, well-connected guy, whether you would actually be able to go straight to the hospital.
Well, I don't know if you can go straight to... Do you guys know over YouTube, Sean Atwood, apparently someone here, Jamar Fitness, saying the hospital is to avoid danger, he will be at risk. In the main prison. I'm guessing you're right. Facing America's system, one of the toughest is going to be hell. I mean, imagine being him.
Their prison system, actually, I think is inhumane. Have any of you seen the Louis
Sophie,
Theroux?
yes, the predatory counsel was found innocent, and I think in some regards his defence counsel would find that a victory. Yeah.
They said what?
He hasn't been found guilty on any of the predatory counts that take life sentences with them.
Yeah.
So I was just...
Mind you, he's 67, so 25
Well,
years
this is it.
life,
This is
isn't
it.
it?
But
It
that's
is
the
life.
maximum they can give him at the moment, based on
Yeah.
these charges. 29
Yeah.
years is the maximum he could receive.
Jenny Ellicott visits it now. My body and soul. He's been caught. He deserves to go to prison. Think about the victims and what
Yeah.
to live with. Continue. Absolutely. He's and this is what he's got. This is what he's got to face.
Yeah, and it's a massive victory for the #MeToo campaign. I think
Oh
also...
my God! What a day for the
Yeah.
victims as well. Oh my
And I
God!
think you're
It's
right.
so important.
You're right
for
when you
them.
say that it's been a bit maligned, hasn't it? And a bit sort of
Oh,
caricatured
people go,
and a bit
this #MeToo.
sneery.
Oh, it's so annoying. God,
Yeah.
can a man not put his hand on a girl's leg anymore? And
Yeah.
that's and often I think what I've discovered is that a lot of women that are talking like that are actually with quite sexist men that
Oh,
I
right,
know.
that's
And I
interesting.
think, I wonder where that's been fed to you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not okay to touch someone's leg who doesn't want you to touch them on the
Yeah.
leg. It's not okay to slap somebody's ass if you don't want to be slapped on the ass.
Well, and interestingly, what that makes
But
you
also,
realise...
the Me Too is doing something much bigger than that as well for
Yeah.
like countless victims. I mean, like somebody said there on the CNN, just his victims alone could be a movement on their own. They're talking about 80 different women,
Absolutely.
I think, that have come forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There were reports as well that they had an incredibly heavy armed guard around him. I think something like 18 armed police
Yeah.
came into the courtroom at the point of reading the jury.
Yeah.
The jury couldn't look him in the eye. Apparently this is quite standard, and none of them could actually look at him in the face.
Oh
as
yeah,
they-
she was
as
saying,
they-
one of the
yeah,
journalists,
yeah, yeah.
wasn't she, that we know that as soon as they come out and they won't look at the defendant, we
Yeah.
usually know that they're going to come up with guilty.
Oh, Joe McKenna, could Trump pardon him? Can of worms.
Well, you know what? I think Trump can just do just about whatever he wants.
Well, he pretty much can. So, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg, and Weinstein...
Tired mummy, what was the verdict? Not heard yet.
Yeah,
Just remind her of
So the verdict was he was found
She's a bit
guilty of
confused.
2 charges. He was found guilty of 2 of the 5 charges, none of the predatory counts. He was found guilty of first-degree sexual assault, I believe that's the title, and third-degree rape. If you can actually believe it, there are gradations to rape, and the third-degree rape carries a lesser sentencing potential than the first-degree sexual assault. So the first-degree sexual assault, 25 years, and the third-degrry rape, sorry, we're just looking at other headlines as they
the
come
headlines
in.
coming in.
And third-degree rape carries a maximum of 4 years. So that's going to be down to the judge. I mean, a lot of people are mentioning Prince Andrew in the same breath. I mean, there was a story about him at the
Did you see
weekend,
the
wasn't it?
story yesterday that was in the paper, and they made a point of saying, I think it was it in the Sun, that the man had refused any payment
Yeah.
for the interview, that he'd been left very unsettled because he had seen Prince Andrew with the young girl at the at Epstein's Island. In all sorts of situations.
Well, that's right, yeah.
And that he felt very uncomfortable about it ever since. And actually, there are 2 witnesses, his wife and his friend, who have come forward to say they remember him telling them that at the time.
Right.
So, and the fact that he didn't get paid as well makes me think.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a bit odd. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's just again.
It's building, isn't it? Because
that sort of
also
Hollywood connection.
there's his bodyguard that said
Yeah.
that he just doesn't.
Absolutely.
He refutes Prince Andrew's alibi
Yes.
that he'd been at Pizza Express that night, and then
Yeah.
so I know a lot of people are coming up. The reason we're talking about Prince Andrew is a lot of people are coming up and
Yeah,
asking
yeah,
us
yeah.
that at the same time.
So it's a you know it's a living live. What is third-degree rape? Good question, Elbeth. I mean, you know.
I think this is based on one particular. Is it Marcy?
Yeah.
And I believe, I could be
Miriam
wrong, the charges are based on Miriam Haley's testimony that Weinstein forced oral sex on her in 2006. And Jessica Mann's testimony that he raped her in 2013 during what she described as an abusive relationship.
So I reckon the third-degree element to that will be the fact that it wasn't a predatory stranger with a physical contingent to it necessarily. It might have been, do you know what I mean? It would have been conditions that were, however you can even describe them as that, but sort of more familiar or known to the woman rather than hostile as they could have been. I don't know.
Somebody said that he doesn't want to go to... Sorry, we can't. Can we go back to
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Somebody just said there he doesn't want to go to jail. That's why he's going to hospital. In the jail, it's better in the hospital. Yeah, Georgie G, but I'm sure that's the case for everyone. I'm just wondering why he's been allowed. Is it, again, the rich guy's getting away with stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Because he's walked into the court, he sat there. I mean, he's not. I mean, surely you have to be very ill to go to hospital in such a brutal regime as the American prison.
But he's been looking very ill as he goes in.
But the American prison service is incredibly. I mean, I've watched a lot of those documentaries in American prisons, and blimey, people practically have their legs hanging off, and they're not allowed to go to the hospital.
Sophie Henderson, is his sudden ill health genuine? Well, therein lies the problem, doesn't it, for all kind of law enforcement? How much can you trust in these assessments of people? I mean, it's impossible, isn't it? So yeah, so we just thought we'd update you guys and just share with you, see what you thought. Talk to someone that's married to help. Can you talk to someone?
Katie, I don't know what that is, but Katie, I hope you're okay. I don't know what that message was, but if you are struggling, the Samaritans, or what's the number? It's a really easy number, and I can never remember it, but look it up. I haven't seen what the message before that was, but I hope you're okay.
Look at Bill Cosby, Deborah Taylor saying he gets treated quite well.
Does he? In what way?
The prison, presumably, that he's in.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always the case, isn't there, for sex offenders that they have to be a bit protected because in prison you can get torn to pieces.
Interesting point. Megan Smith has said this a couple of times. What about his poor kids? I bet he never thought of the anguish and heartache he's put on them. They're victims in this crime too.
And his ex-wife. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is there still cases pending in London and California? Oh, I don't think there are in London. I've never heard that.
No. If you go, If you go back and listen to Weinstein on Howard Stern, it's fascinating. Weinstein was so transparent, and the subject of the casting couch was brought up. He's so calculated in this ill health act. Mark, you're right. In the US, most people think the women put themselves in that relationship. It doesn't matter. Many women are married to abusive men that sexually abuse them. Yeah. So I presume, I would have thought that third-degree rape is probably the most common form of rape within marriage. I think that's where.
So you're in a relationship, but it shouldn't be any better.
No. Of course, absolutely not. But I'm guessing that's where it is. I study criminology, and you're right, Nadia. The US system is very intense.
It is, I think. Yeah. I mean, I actually do believe that to be put away and to be taken away from everything that you love, I mean, just is enough. I don't think you also have to be brutalised. I just don't. I think the way that we run our prisons says something about us as a society as well. I think to throw in a load of men, and some of the documentaries I've seen on American prisons were young, really young boys are thrown in a pen with a load of men that have been there for, oh God, it's too much.
And also, my nanny Di once worked in a prison, and she said on the sex offenders wing, she said there really wasn't much rehabilitation going on. She knows from the inside.
Does he have any more charges pending? Yes, he does.
In LA. Yeah.
Just joined What's Happened, Dee Barton. We're just talking about the Weinstein verdict and the fact that it's now come in and he's actually just been remanded. So he is going to prison. He's been handcuffed and taken to prison. His lawyers have already filed for an appeal. He has been found guilty of 2 of the 5 counts.
Yeah, the least serious of the 5.
The least serious of the 5, but he could face between 4 and 25 years
29 years.
What he's done.
Yeah. So there you go.
So we're just talking about that and what's to come.
But it does kick up all your thoughts. A lot of people talking about the Epstein case. It does kick up your thoughts a lot, doesn't it, about what's going to happen there? And,
exactly, Claire Haslam. That's what I believe.
What's that?
Should human rights must extend even within prison, otherwise who are we? No, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, and I wonder, because it's such a historic case with Weinstein, I don't think there'll be any more interrogation of those people who kept the myth going. There is a film coming out soon called The Assistant, starring the wonderful actress we love in Ozark, which is about the way in which those people around characters like this mop up the mess and keep it quiet. I think that's going to be quite interesting to watch.
Just a moment for the victims as well here. I mean, they will have a moment of salve, I would imagine, that they've been heard. I mean, obviously the 3 poor women that weren't, that they found in him not guilty. But of course, they're now going to live with the horror of possibly an appeal could find him innocent. And it must just feel like it's never going to end for them.
Yeah.
When will they get their closure? Yeah. Because then even if he is found guilty and put away, even then, probably some of the grief they will have will have put on ice a bit because they've been dealing with this.
Yes.
But there will come a time where it's like, that's it, it's done. Either he's found guilty, he's put away, or innocent.
Look,
so it goes on and on for them for the rest of their lives.
And 1 minute ago, it's just broken. The women who came forward to report sexual misconduct are reacting to the Weinstein verdict. The silence breakers, they're called, representing people who came forward to report sexual misconduct, thank the courageous women who spoke out against Weinstein following today's conviction. Lawyer Kendra Barkoff, who speaks on behalf of the silence breakers, which include accusers of Harvey Weinstein, provided a short statement after the verdict. This conviction would not be possible without the testimony of the courageous women and the many other women who have spoken out. It's true. And someone just said on our comments there that Marilyn Monroe was talking about the wolves of Hollywood many years ago. Pixel
imagine what she went through.
Imagine what, you know, again,
I wonder if that's why she became so fragile with drink and pills.
I think she was drugged up to the hilt by, let's not get into the conspiracy theories around Marilyn Monroe. You know, we all very enamoured with the JFKs and all that of the world, but it was as corrupt as you like, you know. So, anyway, silence breakers are modern day heroes. Sandra G, what a great line to end on.
Courtney Garrett, I hope they don't drop the other case in LA if they give a longer sentence.
I don't think they will.
I
think they'll be cumulative. They'll be concurrent or cumulative or whatever.
Yvonne Jenkinson, they get away with it too long because they have each other's back, so they all remain so. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There'll be people now that are very nervous because surely there are going to be people that were in on this with Weinstein.
Well, I do wonder because of the historical nature of it, whether anyone will proceed with any charges against anyone aiding and abetting. So we don't know his sentence yet. We're waiting for him to be sentenced.
He's on remand now.
So he'll be read his, what do they call it? When you're,
rights.
Well, not read your rights, but whatever your punishment is, basically.
Oh, his sentence.
His sentence, yeah.
Yeah. Did they say when that would happen?
No. Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, I'm sure this is going to continue. So, thanks for joining us. We know that you always like this when the big news stories come in, and I know a lot of you don't have people to, have somebody to share it with at that moment. So here we are, as always. If you're new to us, please hit the subscribe button because we quite often do these surprise lives. And if you're subscribed, you'll know we're going live.
Absolutely. And thank you to whoever it was who said we were more honest than Sky News. That was quite something, wasn't it?
Also, Sophie Henderson loved my pancakes. Just put a nice pancake film up if you're looking for a good pancake recipe for tomorrow.
So a cautious victory. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.